Good afternoon, good evening. If you haven't noticed, I am going home. So I'm just here to vibrate with myself. In my very vibrating vehicle. So it should work out well. And just cruise and make my way safely back to the loving arms of my wife. And I get to see and hang out with my chillin'. And do whatever else just will need to get done or will get done. Had an interesting day at work. Two out of three people that were scheduled to work called out, and I was the third person, so that left me alone. Which was kind of cool. For the most part, I only had to deal with my own drama. And there wasn't really any drama. Also kind of forced me to have a very light lunch. Glad I had some fruit in the fridge. And oddly enough, I got my air conditioning on in my vehicular and drinking hot tea. And it tastes pretty good. In front of me, there is a huge chemtrail that is at least a few miles long. And there's one break-off portion where, like, somehow got dispersed. I don't know if a gust of wind went through that spot or if it turned off and turned on or something. There's a little area where it's missing. We can take care of ourselves as much as we feel like doing so. We have choices. can try to eat healthy, or we can say fuck it and eat whatever is convenient. Or a combination of both, of course, like probably most people, combination of both. Wrong hatch. Remember there was like this guidance, I don't know if it was a Taoist, I think it was kind of like a Taoist, maybe Buddhist as well book, and it gives you like a lot of things that you not to do, a very long list of things not to do. And one of those things was not to try to prolong your life, not in those words. But it didn't have anything to do with like not eating healthy and holistically, because it was very clear in this philosophy that eating holistically was very important. And understanding the purpose for eating specific foods, even. Whereas herbs are used for medicinal purposes strictly for medicinal purposes. Not for fun flavor mouth yum-yums, like I do. But they advised against doing things for the sake of lengthening one's life. But you're advised to eat healthy, to exercise, to practice clarity of mind, to breathe naturally and fully. To be peaceful towards others. So what do we make of this instruction? Yeah, this tea is delicious. It's so good, it's so delicious. And I think I'm going to burn a little Palo Santo to express my extreme gratitude. Yep, there we go. That's the good stuff right there. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, friends, known and unknown. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Got the voices in my head telling me to, you know what, to do. All right. That was Palo Santo right there. So yeah, where were we? It doesn't matter where we were. It doesn't matter where I am. But I know that I will be with you soon. And that is good enough. how aware are you of your emotional patterns or your emotional cycles? Oh, I definitely notice them happening. There might be a bit of a delay on noticing them. So why would you say that? Because it seems like the emotions take their course in a I don't know, in a somewhat of a physical form. And it's more of a retrospect, like, oh, okay, this is what's going on now. Well, have you ever been ahead of that curve? I don't think so. I don't think I've been ahead of that curve. I don't know how to be. I'm not too sure that's something that is possible for me to do. And why would you say that? Well, because I'm unclear on of the actual pattern. If there is one that is somewhat precise and trackable. Well, have you ever noticed any other people's patterns? I think so. I think I've noticed other people's patterns. Could you possibly provide an example? Um, I could try. I could try. I've noticed. I've noticed a dear friend of mine that would kind of go into these reoccurring fits of jealousy. And from a superficial outlook, it didn't appear to be logical from my perspective. And I also didn't think that it seemed 100% logical from my friend's perspective either. And then the jealousy would often erupt into rage. Then after the rage, there would be sorrow and remorse. And then after like the request for forgiveness, there would be some sort of like kind admiration. And after the kind admiration, there would be somewhat of what I could only describe as normalcy. And after the normalcy, we kind of go back into the cycle. But when you say that it's not, doesn't seem to be logical, what do you mean by that? Well, I want to kind of say that carefully because there is some deeper movements that are maybe projecting these emotions in ways that make them seem illogical. Kind of like if you had a band playing music and then the singer was, 4.716 bars behind. And it was just appeared to be odd and slightly dysfunctional. And you haven't noticed some similar frequencies in yourself. But I think I've noticed some similarities, but not as clearly as I've noticed them on other people who I've been very close to, which is, yes, I understand that's strange. Because you'd imagine that I would know myself better than I would think to know someone else. But I guess in certain ways that's not true for me, and maybe for others. Like I can notice myself where I can transform from like patience, very patient, to becoming irritable and losing my patience. And when I lose my patience, I can be very harsh and demanding. And then I come to some realization that there's a better way to do things and to solicit the assistance you need from others, or to help people to understand their duties and sometimes their obligations. And then you fall back into the patience. But I can't predict the swing, and I've never really tried to. Now, what do you think would happen if you did predict the swing, as you called it? Well, I think if I was able to do so, I would be able to be a witness to my actions before they happen. What do you mean? Can you give me an example of what you mean by a witness to your actions before they happen? Yeah, let me give that a try. So, for instance, when you're in a very calm state of mind, and you are driving on the freeway and somebody hastily cuts you off, you'll probably have the opportunity, if you remain in that clear state of mind, to notice, depending on one's own tendencies. So I'll use mine as an example. I might notice my pull to yell and flip someone off. But in a clear state of mind, I can choose not to, because that's ridiculous, unhelpful behavior. And so you believe that if you could be ahead or be aware in advance of the swing of emotions, you may have the ability to curb your outburst, so to speak. Indeed. So that's exactly what I mean. I couldn't have said it better myself. However, as I said before, well, maybe we're onto something. Maybe one doesn't need to be ahead of the swing of the tide going in and out. And it's more important to be in a constant state of clarity should one like to be free from emotional outbursts? Well, how do you feel about emotional outbursts? Do you think they serve a purpose? Well, let me think about that. So, do I think emotional outbursts serve a purpose? I'm inclined to say that they have a function. Whether that function serves a purpose or not is questionable. However, they definitely serve something. An emotional outburst definitely serves something. Now, what could that something be? Maybe it could be a habit. Maybe it can be kind of like a limp in some part of us that is partially disabled, needs repair. But I guess the question to me would be, does it serve a meaningful purpose? And this is one of those yes or no situations for me. Because it seems to at least bring something in view. If we have the awareness to notice. But it also has the potential to reinforce this repetition of behavior. So that could actually be a purpose within itself. But again, not necessarily a good one as far as I'm concerned. And yet no, because it seems to debilitate the harmony that most people strive for, whether it be consciously or unconsciously. So let me maybe ask another question, if you don't mind. No, I don't mind. Please ask. Ask on. Do you have any examples when your emotional outbursts did harm to your relationships? Oh yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, I would say more times than I am willing to admit. I've had outbursts that were alcohol related and potentially partially induced. I've had outbursts that were alcohol free and drug free as well. That's cost me friends, or even acquaintances. That cost me jobs. I've said don't think was warranted. Now, is there anything that stands out to you more than others? Well, it feels like there's a little bit of a mental block. where I don't really want to see myself in such a ridiculous state. As you might understand. Something that kind of stands out to me is a little bit more related to alcohol abuse. And being young and macho and in love. And there was a door that was opened, and the door hit my wife but didn't hurt her, and I just went into complete rage. And it created a really bad situation, which had the potential to escalate into some I'll just leave it at that. And I went home drunk with some support, right, from some friends and some people who understood why I became so angry. When I woke up the next day, none of that really mattered, because I felt deep inside that I did something wrong. And that I was very sorry for it. Now, did that rage that you found yourself in, did that delete your friendship, I guess, with whoever you were kind of aiming your anger at? Yeah, well, the next day, like I said, I found myself feeling very shameful. And I called the friend that was hosting the party and who I lashed out at physically, and apologized to him sincerely. And he was pretty cool about it. He was pretty forgiving. But just, things were really never the same. Maybe I was never the same after that. How do you feel about that now? Well, I'm glad that I feel I don't feel attached to it. I I feel like I released like some I released like the shame of that experience when I called that man up and said sorry and told him that he didn't deserve that. So I don't feel like I'm holding like regret or anything like that. But I guess in some way give me feels like at the moment like rethinking that experience that it gives me some better understanding of myself and my potentials for good and for righteous anger. What I thought was righteous anger really was just anger. So, how are you feeling? We're coming up to the end of the session. Are you feeling good about this? Are you feeling at all uncomfortable? Well, um, actually feeling pretty good about it. I'm feeling a little bit open, and I feel I was relaxed at the start, and I feel relaxed now. And so, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, friends. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to kind of move on. because in just a few short minutes I'll go from going home to being home. 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 And I'm going to be at home and I'm going to be present with my surroundings and my fellow travelers, my sojourners, if you will. So have a beautiful night. Thanks again. Love you. Peace out. Amen. Oh, namaste and mahalo, my friends.